Hello everyone and welcome to Budokai Tenkaichi 2, which is my favorite Dragon Ball Z game. And this is the introductory video that will explain the game mechanics. The theme song for the main menu here is Open Wings, which I think is appropriate because it gives a sense of endless possibility, and I really like this song.
Okay, Gohan, I'm off on another adventure.
You can have all sorts of adventures flying around Earth and space.
You sure can, Gohan, but for right now we're gonna go look at the training mode, because that's where all the game mechanics are hidden at.
What are you doing here? You're interfering with my training.
Vegeta, what's gotten you into such a bad mood?
I'm in the middle of battle maneuvers. The elite do not neglect the basics.
So tell us a little bit about this training, Vegeta.
I don't have time to explain every last detail. Use your imagination. First is warm-ups. Next. This was a good warm-up. Darn Vegeta. Bulma's my girl. Do a surprise attack. Yamcha, you idiot. You really plan to attack me? When it's come to this, I'll find you with Z-Search.
Alright, it's time to discover basic movement. Right now we're in free mode, which means we can move in any direction freely. We can also dash by pressing the X button, and we can do a shorter dash by double tapping the X button, like this. The shorter dashes can be a lot more useful, I find. We just locked on. Now, whether we lock on to an enemy depends on how close they are and whether they're hiding behind something. Our movement mode changes when we get closer to the enemy, and our dash turns into a dodge instead. You'll notice we started strafing instead of moving freely.
Hey, loser, what are you planning?
If you fall during battle, you should lock on to your target right away.
Flying in the air is easy. Since Kakarot is strong fighting on the ground, an aerial attack might be effective. Watch out, Kakarot!
Alright, it's time to learn about flying. We can press the fly button once to jump, which is useless by itself. But if we hold the jump button, we can hover. And if we press it while hovering, we can fly upward. And there's also a descend button, of course. Controlling which plane of movement you're on during battle is really important, especially during melee combat. While we're locked onto an enemy and nearby, pressing the ascend or descend button will make us dodge backward in that direction, which again is very useful for melee combat. It's important to keep that in mind. We do have to be hovering first, of course.
Kakarot!
You're totally obsessed with Goku.
For a Dragon Dash, use your energy to move at high speeds. No, I'm the Prince of all Saiyans! High-speed movement!
A Dragon Dash is exactly like a normal dash, except for it's a very effective method to attack your enemy quickly since it's, faster. You can choose to attack them from the front or the right or left sides. You can also break objects in the environment while you're using Dragon Dash. Basically, it's just to attack your enemy quickly and catch them off guard. Though of course there are ways to counter this that we'll get to later.
Don't do that around the house. You'll break all the furniture.
Fill your energy gauge to its limit to reach max power! Why can't I change? There's no helping it. Now let's try some training at max power!
Now it's time to learn about charging our ki meter, which is that yellow meter underneath our health bar. It's how we use our special attacks. Our ki meter actually has two parts, but we can't charge up the second part until that blue thing under our ki meter hits 1. Now we can. When the blue meter is full, we enter max power mode, and we'll learn about what max power mode does later. You should know that charging up to max power mode briefly knocks back your enemies, though.
Yamcha, you stand there!
Me? But I was just whisked back.
However, while you're collecting energy, you leave yourself open to attack. Use caution. That clown Kakarot is doing hand-to-hand training.
All right, Gohan. Which technique do you want to try to improve? You want to try rush fist fighting with Dad?
Alright, it's time for the basics of melee combat. We have a basic attack, which is just punches. As long as we're locked onto an enemy and near them, we'll instantly snap to them and use these. Even after we use our full combo, we can go immediately back into another one until the enemy flies away. We can also punch while we're dashing, and we can dodge around people to punch them from behind. Pretty simple stuff so far.
Remember, if you use rush fist fighting, you have to recover your energy.
Why don't you just go join Goku and the others?
You gotta be kidding! What good would it do me to train with weaklings and fools?
Oh, Vegeta, you need to lighten up.
Hit opponents that only block.
We're supposed to be learning how to grab, but there are multiple ways to get around a blocking enemy. One of them is by teleporting to their side or back while we're punching. This uses our ki meter though, so we have to be careful about how we use it. It's still very useful. This is a grab, and grabs are usually only effective while your enemy is blocking excessively. You're kind of open for a while before you grab, so be careful about how you use it. The enemy AI certainly isn't shy about using it if you decide to go on the defensive though.
After hitting, follow-up attacks are effective.
If you try, you can do it.
That clown Kakarot is doing hand-to-hand training.
You need to learn the smash attack to send the strong guys flying.
Alright, it's time to learn about smash attacks, which are very, very important. By holding down the punch button, we can fill up that meter in the bottom right next to our radar, and when it's full, we can smash enemies away with it. We can also choose which direction we smash enemies by pressing that direction while we charge it up. You can also charge up a smash while you're dashing towards your enemies, and then hit them when you arrive. It's very, very useful. It's probably going to be the skill you use the most to take the advantage over your enemy.
Why don't you just go join Goku and the others?
You gotta be kidding! What good would it do me to train with weaklings and fools?
Oh, Vegeta, you need to lighten up.
All right, the next one is a little harder, so do your best.
What? Goku's going to teach Dragonhoming to Gohan?
This next move is a follow-up to the smash attack. If we press the X button immediately after we use the smash attack, we snap to the enemy and get a blue aura around us. It's exactly like the Dragon Dash, except for it homes in on the enemy, hence the name Dragonhoming. So, yeah, it's basically a stronger version of our dash that instantly snaps us to the enemy. Pretty useful. It essentially assures that the enemy won't have time to react before we smash them down. So basically don't get hit by a smash attack in the first place.
All right, that's enough for today. Well, let's eat.
If you try, you can do it.
They're also doing Ki Blast training, since there's different ways of using it.
It's time to learn about Ki Blasts, which are a good way to distract or contain opponents. We can rapidly fire Ki Blasts, which are good to keep enemies distracted, or we can fire a charged up Ki Blast, which knocks them over. Both of these can be blocked, though. Goku just isn't blocking them because this is training. We can also fire Ki Blast while dashing, and from pretty much any position. There's no limit. Basically, you can fire a Ki Blast from anywhere. Even close range if you really want to. As I'm about to demonstrate. It is very useful to catch your opponents off guard and then follow up with stronger attacks. I wouldn't say Ki Blasts are a very effective method of offense by themselves. But if your opponent only has a little bit of health left, then sure, go for it. As you're seeing, the strong Ki Blasts do knock enemies over. But like I said, they can be blocked, so they won't just sit there and take it like this.
You can fire a Ki Blast while dashing or jumping. It's pretty easy, really.
Depending on the user, a charged Ki Blast can paralyze an opponent. Remember, you can do follow-up attacks on your opponent. When it comes to Ki Blast, I'm number one. That lowlife is practicing combination attacks now.
Piccolo, I want to test a combo. Will you be my training partner?
Fine, but I don't turn into a Super Saiyan. I can't deal with that.
All right, I got it. Let's go.
Next is my favorite part of hand-to-hand combat, the combos. Or performing a normal punch combo, we can use the triangle button and a direction button to make a combo happen. This is similar to Dynasty Warriors or games like it. While we're performing a combo, we can press the direction button to choose which kind of combo we perform. And which kind of combo also depends on where we are in our chain when we decide to press triangle. Every character has different combos that activate at different points, so you need to get used to each character before you try anything fancy, because all of them control differently. The combo system seems really complicated at first, but you get the hang of it pretty fast. Make sure you do not confuse charged up combos with smash attacks, they are very different things. Charged up combos can be useful to stun your enemies, but they don't send them flying in the same way that smash attacks do.
That was a great workout. Thank you, Piccolo.
Goku! My combo attacks surpass his. I'm an elite. Kakarot and the others are technique training now. Well, it's been a while. Let's try out some new skills. Let's start with Blast 1. Check your gauge to make sure you have enough power.
It's time to learn what the blast gauge does. It's that little meter below our key meter, the one that fills up with blue very slowly. Once it hits a number, we can use our... The game calls it a Blast 1, we'll call it a signature move. Signature moves are not really used for offensive purposes, they just change your character or the battle in a way to make it more in your favor. To use Gohan's signature move, we need to wait until the blast gauge fills up twice. There we go. However, we were interrupted while we were using it, so it didn't count. We'll try to use it again after we get Piccolo away from us. There we go. That puts our key meter at max power and gives us a whole ton of buffs. It's very useful. We're not gonna use our special attacks right now though, because that's for a different training mission.
For Blast 1, you can blind your opponent with a solar flare. You can also defend with a burst of energy, the explosive wave. You can dodge your opponents with the after image technique. Things like that. You can see which Blast 1 you have with the skill list.
Uh-oh, what are you gonna do now?
I've been holding one back. Kakarot won't know what hit him.
You know, you're kind of cute when you're angry.
Kakarot and the others are technique training now. You can't use Blast 2 unless you've collected enough energy from Z-Surge. Now, try showing me the skills I taught you.
It's finally time to learn about special skills or special attacks, which is probably what you were expecting this whole time. Depending on how high our key meter is filled up, we can use various attacks. Each character requires a different amount of the key meter to be filled depending on which attack they use. Each character has 2 different special attacks and 1 ultimate special attack. We can't use the ultimate special attack right now though. We're just practicing the first 2. There are 2 kinds of special skills. There are projectile special skills which by themselves come in several different genres. And there are rush type special skills where we dash at the opponent and perform very powerful melee attacks. You can also change special skills into combos, which I find to be very useful. You can take out a whole health bar that way if you know what you're doing.
Whoa! What power!
Gohan, you've gotten stronger since the fight on Namek.
Uh-oh, what are you gonna do now?
I've been holding one back. Kakarot won't know what hit him.
You know, you're kind of cute when you're angry.
Kakarot and the others are technique training now.
Now, let's see if you have what it takes to fire your ultimate blast.
But Piccolo!
I'm a super Namek. There's no need to hold back. Come on!
Right. First you need to reach max power.
Alright, it's time to learn about ultimate special skills, but before we can use that, we need to reach max power by charging up our key meter twice. But we can't do that until the blast gauge below our key meter fills up at least once. So we just need to distract Piccolo until that happens. And now we can do it. Ultimate special skills, of course, vary depending on the user, and they can be of either genre of special attack. They almost always are guaranteed to take out at least 1 health bar by themselves, though. Make sure you know the nuances of the individual special attack before you use it.
What a great power. Well done, Gohan.
Piccolo, don't overdo it.
Uh-oh, what are you gonna do now?
I've been holding one back. Kakarot won't know what hit him.
You know, you're kind of cute when you're angry. Yamcha went on a training mission. I think he wanted to work on his melee attacks.
In fist fighting, there's 2 ways of exchanging blows, hits, and blasts. First, we'll try some rapid punch attacks. Think you can do the Wolf Fang Fist?
The Wolf Fang Fist? Sure, no problem!
I sincerely doubt it, but let's go!
So do you remember Dragon Dashing? Some special skills are similar to Dragon Dashing, and if your enemy uses a Dragon Dash or a special skill of a similar kind, you two clash. Like this. So if you find yourself on the receiving end of a special attack where the enemy rushes towards you, or find an enemy dashing towards you at high speed, just use a Dragon Dash and you'll be able to counter it, assuming you can twirl the control stick faster than they can. Please make sure that the rubber is attached to your analog stick before you do a clash, because otherwise you'll tear your hand the fuck up. That rubber is there for a reason. Please make sure you have a fully functioning controller before you play Budokai Tenkaichi. After you win a clash, your opponent is briefly vulnerable to another strike, which I'm about to demonstrate. We'll win this clash here and then immediately use our special skill again, and this time it'll connect.
What can I say? I'm the Wolf Fang Fist Master!
Bar's helping in some weird way. Seems pretty half-baked if you ask me. Yamcha went on a training mission. I think he wanted to work on his melee attacks.
Okay. Next is the Kamehameha.
I can't fire a Kamehameha!
Sure you can. If you can do the Wolf Fang Fist, you can do this too, right? You'll be fine. Just do what you can.
It's also possible to perform a clash using beam-type projectile attacks, which we'll demonstrate right now. Just like the other type of clash, we have to twirl the control stick faster in order to win. Of course, I have to wait for Puar to use... There we go. So there's nothing unique to beam clashes, you just twirl the control stick just like the other type of clash. You should be careful though, because even if you win, beam type clashes can leave you exhausted, which I will try to demonstrate right now. See, even though we won, our Ki Blast meter was depleted completely, which leaves us vulnerable for a second.
Yamcha! I can't take any more!
Just as I thought! I'm so strong! Alright, do your best!
Bar's helping in some weird way. Seems pretty half-baked if you ask me. Vegeta, why don't you try some defensive training? There's lots of different techniques.
Alright, guard practice. This time I'm not holding back, son.
Alright, it's finally time to learn about guarding. We can guard in 5 directions depending on where our opponent strikes at. The tricky thing is that you have to memorize what the animations look like because they're specifically designed to trick you into guarding in a direction you shouldn't. But after you get the hang of it, you should be able to guard any smash attack, assuming that you can move your fingers fast enough, which is a serious issue, because battles in this game move very fast. But yes, assuming you can move your fingers fast enough, this is how you dodge smash attacks, by guarding in the appropriate direction at just the right time. You can see I have issue with it, and that's not going to change across the course of the game. Surely I will get it right sometimes. But the combat in this game is very fast-paced, true to Dragon Ball fashion.
I can't guard against your attacks, Dad.
Who needs it? I'll finish my enemies before they have a chance to attack.
Goku and the others are working really hard, aren't they? They're doing evasive training now.
Oh, I can't land a hit on Dad or Piccolo.
Gohan, we're skilled at dodging.
Yeah, so try showing me how to step dodge. Let's go, Piccolo!
You saw dodging way back when we covered basic movement. It is the easiest way to get around any opponent's charged up melee attack, though it does have its limits. For example, if an enemy tries to sweep your leg, dodging won't do much about that. Your opponent also won't just stand there and use only charge attacks either. They'll try to mix them in with their normal combos. So it's never this simple in actual gameplay.
Go around the opponent and dodge.
I said I'll finish my enemies before they have a chance to attack.
This time you'll see how to dodge Ki Blasts. Watch carefully.
Goku, don't hold back. Come and fight.
You can press the block button right before a Ki Blast hits to deflect it. This even applies to the larger Ki Blasts, though they travel much faster usually. You need to have pretty good timing, but far from perfect timing. It's actually pretty lenient. Each character has different kinds of Ki Blasts. As you're seeing right now, Piccolo's Ki Blasts are very different from Goku's. You can also just block Ki attacks, but this leaves you far more open than deflecting them. So deflecting them is always the better option, if you have the time for that.
That was pretty intense.
If you try, you can do it!
There are still more styles of dodging. Goku, try throwing me.
Piccolo, you're trying an escape throw, aren't you?
That's exactly it. Come on.
This is the move I have the absolute most trouble with.
There you are.
You have to press the block button right before their throw hits you. But it's not as simple as pressing it when the animation starts or pressing it when it touches you. It's somewhere in between. You might notice I'm having trouble doing it right now when I know he's going to grab me, while in actual combat I wouldn't see it coming, which would make it even harder to react in time. I find the best time to press the circle button is right as their elbow starts to bend, but even then I still have trouble. A lot of this game's combat relies on fast reflexes and choosing from a variety of options as quickly as possible. You have to work your fingers and brain pretty hard if you want to avoid getting hit. Thankfully, the enemy's AI is a bit lenient until you get to the hardest difficulty, but we'll be playing on medium difficulty because I'm sane. I'm sure you'll see me deflect a throw at least once or twice in live combat. It's not like we won't have time because this game's story mode is pretty lengthy. I do believe now we're almost done with the training mode, and after this there's only 2 more, which aren't all that important, but we'll try to use all the skills we learned so far during them, even though we don't need to.
If you try, you can do it!
The androids have finally come. I'll change into a Super Saiyan. Darn it!
I knew it! Dad's sick! His heart!
If anyone's going to defeat Kakarot, it'll be me! Vegeta! Finally surpassed Kakarot. It's time for me to become the Prince of all Saiyans again! The androids have finally come. I'll change into a Super Saiyan! My only objective is you, Kakarot!
Are you ready? Begin!